All right, folks, another wild edible video on this beautiful Friday morning. Super busy, but had to stop and do a wild edible video. Now, you're going to have to excuse the yard. We still have not got a dumpster in here. And I've got to wait until I'm finished with the job I'm on now before I get the dumpster in here, because it will block me getting in and out, pulling the equipment in and out. Got the siding still sitting right there. There it is. $3,300. That's $3,300 worth of siding for the house in Tennessee. But friends, it has sat there for a year, and I don't know. I've got to check it out. It could be ruined. Most of it might be most of it I might be able to salvage, hopefully, if it is ruined. Anyway. So the yard's a mess, don't pay attention, but we're going to do just a quick wild edible walk. And I can't help but notice all of the wild edibles that are coming up. It is what, December the 4th? And so these are winter wild edibles, folks. And so right here, we have what you call mock strawberry. Some folks call it Indian strawberry. And you can see the flower is yellow. It's barely... You can barely see it. It's just starting. Here's another one. And this here you can use the leaves as a pot herb. Yeah, cook them up just like you would any other grain. And it has the little strawberry that comes up. It will not be coming up until the springtime. Oh, no. Take it back. Here we go. See? Right here. That's edible. It doesn't taste like anything. I mean, just a teeny hint of cucumber in there. But this plant is edible. Cooked up, raw. You can even make a tea out of the leaves. All right, so we have chickweed over here. Chickweed is just coming out. And it is an excellent winter wild edible. Eaten raw in salads, an excellent lymph node cleanser. An immune system booster. Immune system booster is what you need right now in the winter. And it's delicious, folks. I eat it all the time throughout the winter. All right, we have bitter cress right here. This is bitter cress, just an excellent wild edible. Can be eaten raw or cooked up a little bit. This is all chickweed growing here. What do we have here? We have greenbrier. Now, this is the perfect greenbrier to be eating if you are eating the leaves and the young tips. This is the perfect one. The young tips, hey, let me tell you, I've got a video of me cooking this stuff up. Them young tips are better than asparagus. They are flat delicious, and so are the young tender leaves, which can be eaten raw. The older ones need to be cooked up a little bit. Now, the root of this vine, this greenbrier, the root of it can be eaten. Now, a young one like this isn't going to have much of a root, but it's probably a decent root. One a little bigger, maybe 3, 4, 5 times that size, will have a root that is not very old and easily cut up and cooked and eaten just like that, or eaten raw. I prefer them cooked. Now, the bigger roots, they get kind of woody, and so what you can do with them is work them, grate them, boil them. They end up making a very soupy, starchy drink, or maybe you can use it as a thickener for soups or whatever. But excellent, excellent wild edible as well. Hey, friends. I am not an expert by no means. I do know my wild edibles, but I do not call myself an expert. So anything you do is going to be on you. You need to find out if these things are for you. You need to identify properly before you stick anything in your mouth. And that is all up to you, folks. I'm just telling you what I do. All right, now let's go over here. Now, excuse the yard. It's the work yard. Nothing but chickweed here, so yummy, yummy, yummy. All right, so here we have some wild lettuce right here. Now, we do believe that all lettuces originated from wild lettuce, And you've got to be careful with wild lettuce. It is, if you're going to eat it like food, it needs to be cooked. But if you're going to eat it raw, just eat it sparingly. Be careful. But it is more medicinal. It is more medicinal, but can be eaten as food. Now, I eat it quite often. And, you know, I'm okay. At least that's what I think. So wild lettuce. Let's go over here and see what we can see. Now that may be it as far as in the yard. I'm fixing to take off and go to work. All right, what do we have in here? Of course, that's Jerusalem artichoke, which I planted, but Jerusalem artichoke is a wild edible. It is native to North America, and of course I planted this. It is just not growing wild. It will take over and be considered wild eventually. But I planted it, but it is growing all over North America. And it is an excellent, delicious, wild edible. You eat the root, and you do it just like you would a potato. It needs to be cooked because it'll give you gas if you eat it raw. All right, so let's check out this wild geranium. Wild geranium right here, wild geranium. This is it. It needs to be cooked up. You can eat it raw. I do eat it raw on sandwiches, but it needs to be cooked up and done just like any other pot herb. Cudweed. Cudweed is excellent for mouth sores and that sort of thing. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I have been working all morning, loading and unloading and doing this and doing that. Nose is kind of stopped up. I haven't stopped and just immediately started making a video. As I was pulling out, I jumped out of the truck. So cudweed, let's go back to cudweed. Cudweed can be used for mouth sores, mouthwash, chewed and spit out. But a lot of people actually cook that and eat it as a veggie, as a pot herb. I've never tried it. All right, so here is your kudzu root. Here is your old kudzu root. Now this has browned, but when you just pull it out of the ground, it's more white. But that's an old kudzu. Sorry, folks. Excuse me. Excuse me. Take that back. Let's go back for 30 seconds. It is a greenbrier root. A greenbrier root. Sorry. But you dig it out of the ground fresh. See, that's big. Now, you can go back in my videos and see me digging up greenbrier root and see what it looks like. And but that's an old one I had dug up and just threw it out. Oh, mercy me. So, let's go up here now. This is one of my favorites up in here. Right here. And folks, this is curly dock. Now this is one of my favorite wild edibles, and it is delicious. It is delicious. It's got that it's in the sorrel family, I do believe. It's got the kind of tangy taste to it, and the seeds on this thing, when these things go to seed, the seeds on these things can be harvested, and they can be done just like wheat. And these seeds will last for up to 80 years or longer if stored properly. So this is an excellent food source for anyone. Delicious greens, the root is medicinal, and the seeds can be done like wheat. Now this is one of my very favorites. Curly dock. All right. So here's blue violet, and the flowers will be coming out in a month or so, maybe 2 months. This is December the 4th. But these are edible, raw or cooked. I prefer them raw. Raw is excellent. All right, let's move on over. We're around the pond. I got to get that pine straw out of the pond. Them fish can't stand that pine straw. Well, my. Now this is a thorny olive or whatever it is. Ain't exactly sure. It's not an autumn olive for sure. But thorny olive and autumn olive looks just like it. And autumn olive, I got videos on that. Autumn olives are excellent. Same family. Well, folks, we have a goldenrod. You can make a goldenrod tea out of the leaves or the flowers. And, you know, it's excellent for you. Very medicinal, but just plain excellent for you. Well, folks, I do believe that may be, excuse me, just about it. Wild edibles. Now, these are your common wild edibles here in Georgia, here in the South. Very, very common. This is things that are growing in everyone's yard, everybody's yard. And they are delicious. They're wild edibles for beginners. And look at the wild lettuce, folks. Look at all that wild lettuce. My, that's all wild lettuce right there. Can be eaten raw or cooked. If you eat it raw, just eat it sparingly. Oh my, look at this. Mullein. Mullein, folks. This is mullein. Now, mullein is very medicinal. And for that sickness that is sweeping the globe right now, mullein is an excellent thing to have. Mullein can be dried and smoked. Yes, it can. It sounds crazy. But dried and smoked, the Native Americans did that. And it cleanses the lungs. It will pull out things in the lungs, all that bad stuff in there. And the sickness that is sweeping the globe right now, can't mention it on YouTube. This is an excellent thing to have around. Probably need to order some, just some tincture, and maybe some extract or whatever, some tea, and get the mullein. Oh, I didn't know this was here. The wife's going to be excited. She has asthma, and this stuff right here works miracles for folks with respiratory trouble. That is for sure excellent. Anyway, folks, hey, remember, I am not an expert, not telling you what to do. This is just what I know, what I do. You need to do your research and consult with a local expert before you do anything. This is dog fennel, and it is you really don't need to mess with it. It's very, very spicy, kind of, not spicy, but flavorful. And some folks throw it on their eggs and their omelets and that sort of thing. But folks, you need to stay away from dog fennel. Some people call it summer cedar because it can affect your liver. It can affect your liver. So stay away from it. Oh, more mullein right here. I see that leaf. Oh, my goodness. Amongst all of this wild lettuce. Deliciousness. Now, wild lettuce, you can make a tea, and it's very soothing. It'll calm you. Somebody who is going through maybe a traumatic time or whatever the case may be can take some wild lettuce, and it's very calming and soothing. Has an opioid effect. Opioid. Hard for me to say my words this morning. It has an opioid effect, but it's not an opioid. It's not a drug whatsoever. And I have drank wild lettuce tea. It's excellent, folks. Excellent. And just good for this is all wild lettuce. Just good for calming the nerves and you know, if you're having trouble sleeping, good for that. More mullein. Man, I am thankful for that mullein. All right, let's move on. All right, folks. Now, this is heavenly bamboo. Now, heavenly bamboo doesn't need to really be messed with. It would be an extreme famine food. I'm talking about the berries. Extreme famine food. Now, the seed in these berries are very toxic. They will actually kill a bird. Just the seed now, just that little seed. It's very toxic. But the skin and pulp and all that in there is not. So in a famine food, I would say extreme famine, you could do it, because you want to be careful. Those seeds can get you. And I can't remember the bird, but there's a certain bird that comes out and just gorges on these things, and it actually kills the bird because the seeds are toxic. You got to eat a lot of them to affect you. But skin and pulp is okay, not the seed. And I have eaten it. And folks, don't be like me. Study super good now. When I first started this journey, I made some mistakes, and I was a guinea pig to myself. My throat swelled up, I don't know how many times, because of eating too much of something or eating the wrong thing. And I've had trouble just a couple of times, but a couple of times it was scary. And I finally learned my lesson, not to be so gung-ho, and study something out thoroughly before you go mess with it. Man, I wish privet had some goodness in it, but it does not. It does. You can extract something from it, but that takes a scientist to mess with the privet. It's medicinal. Anyway, this is a Jimson weed seeds. Now, this thing has gone to seed, and oh, folks, these are horrifying. That's why they got the spikes on them. That's Mother Nature telling you, leave me alone. I am dangerous. Now, you see all those seeds in there, folks. Now, kids, talking about teenagers, adults too, they will take these seeds to hallucinate. And folks, it'll put you in the hospital, because the hallucinations, the high will not go away for days. And look, all over the place. I've got it. This is in the nightshade family, and there's regular nightshade here as well. And you know, the tomatoes in the nightshade family. So anyway, I got a phone call coming in, folks. Hope it don't disturb my video. Anyway, a dangerous little plant. And then what we have here, now this is, I've got videos on every bit of this stuff, and YouTube's full of it as well. Now this is the nightshade. In the fall, going into winter, see the little berries. That leaves are gone. Now this is ground cherry, which the cherry is gone. It is in the nightshade family as well, but it is not poisonous. You can eat that. Ground cherry, little tomato, tomatilla, whatever they call it, like thing in there. Once it has turned yellow and it is ripe, otherwise it'll give you a stomach ache. All right, friends, wild geranium, wild lettuce, ooh, bitter cress and chickweed, and all sorts of goodness in here. Common wild edibles, friends. These that I'm showing you today are for beginners. It's for beginners. And oh, let's go back here. I seen a greenbrier root right here. All right, so the greenbrier root right there. Another one that I had dug up and just thrown. You've got blackberries over there. The leaves can be used as tea. Them leaves are getting old. Okay, so I don't see any kudzu, but folks, let me tell you something about kudzu. There's some right down the street, and don't get it confused with morning glory, because they kind of grow the same, and the leaves, if you don't know what you're looking at, you can mistake a morning glory leaf vine for a kudzu. So make sure you identify properly. But the kudzu, folks, the kudzu, most people don't know, is edible. They eat it in Japan all the time. It's just regular food. Kudzu is edible. It grows all over the place, takes over areas. Now the kudzu root can be done like a potato, cook it up, blah, blah, blah. Leaves can be cooked up. You don't want to eat those leaves raw, though you can, but it's like eating a piece of velvet or something. Cook them up, the young tips, same way, cook them up and eat them as a pot herb. Ground cherry. Oh, yeah, okay. This is a ground cherry. Now look, you don't need to get this confused with anything else, because there's things out there that have berries that are poisonous. Now see, this is green. It needs to be yellow. It needs to ripen and be yellow. And sometimes these things never ripen. Sometimes they never ripen. Jimson weed. And you got the mock strawberry. Them leaves are yummy. Now, here we go. This is a tough one here. What is this? Well, yeah, that is nightshade there. There's the berries of the nightshade. Now, these berries on the nightshade are very poisonous. Listen to me. Nightshade berries are very poisonous, like death. Okay, just like Jimson. Take too many Jimson seeds and death awaits you. All right, friends. Now here's some wild lettuce here. This is prickly lettuce. The more rounded leaves is considered called blue lettuce. This is prickly lettuce. Now, folks, if you want to know if you've got wild lettuce, can you see the hairs on the vine? It'll have hairs on its vine, and that way you know it's wild lettuce. All right, so this video has went just a little too long, but man, excited. I got to get to work, folks. My, you're holding me up. Holding me up. Okay, so cudweed. I do believe that's cudweed. Looks strange. Maybe it's not. Well, let's take that back and backtrack. I'm not sure. Doesn't quite look like it. All right, folks. I do believe that is it. We have a Bradford pear here. Now, Bradford pears grow everywhere. They're invasive, I do believe. And this is a young baby one. And this Bradford pear will produce, some of them, and some folks call it calorie pear tree, whatever. But the Bradford pear will produce a little edible fruit. If you see little tiny fruits about the size of, well, smaller than a marble. But if you see those fruits, they are very edible and delicious. But you got to be careful of the seeds. They're just like an apple seed. You don't want to really eat an apple seed. Bad thing about Bradford pear, the seeds are tiny and the fruit is tiny. And so it's easy just to throw them in your mouth and eat them, which I have. That's not a good thing to do. Get the seeds out, and it's an excellent food source. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. We'll see ya.